Webster says that a vision is a mental image produced by the imagination. Ah, it's deeper than that, Mr. Webster. He did the best he could. Vision has at its root, as we said on Xavier's Day, an idea. An idea is a well-developed thought. You know, in the comic books, whenever somebody had a brilliant thought or idea, they would put over the head a light, a bulb. That's it. Light got turned on in the guy's head. He saw something. He had an idea. But he really didn't have an idea. He had a thought. Because ideas are different from thoughts. Ideas, like thoughts, exist in the mind, potentially or actually as a product of mental activity. You can't have an idea or thought if your mind is not active. Brain waves on a machine that scans the activity of your mind, of your brain, shows an electrical energy in the brain that says this is alive. Electrical energy in the brain allows the brain to do what the brain is designed to do. Create thought, create image, create pictures. Listen, once you have a thought, that is a concept. When you say, sister has conceived, what do you mean? Sister has conceived. What do you mean? She's pregnant, right? Conception is not baby. The conception has all the necessary ingredients to make the baby. But now it needs a period of gestation and growth in the darkness of the womb so that conception becomes a fully developed child, baby, fetus. When thought germinates in the mind, if you don't continue to think on the thought, I want you to hear me. If you don't continue to think on the thought, then the thought without more thought only is a thought that comes and goes. And you will say when somebody else comes up with the thought but thinks on the thought, they stole my idea. They stole my stuff. They making the money and I ain't got none. Dirty, low-down thief. Wait a minute, fool. You don't have any corner on thought. You don't have any specific corner on imagery. Many of you have good thoughts, but you do nothing about what you think. So the thought was an opportunity that you blew because you didn't do by the thought what you should have done. You got to think on the thought. You have to think on the thought. And thinking on the thought is feeding the thought. Then the thought develops into an idea. And that idea has with it a plan, a scheme, a method of fulfilling and concretizing what was a mental image that had potential, but now you want to actualize what you have envisioned. But if you even develop the idea or the thought into an idea and still will not work the idea, then God will give the idea to somebody else who will fulfill the idea and fulfill the vision brought by the idea. After the thought brings up a concept, you've conceived. Most people talk the thought, and the thought gets lost. It's like showing the baby before the baby is a baby. Who wants to see a clot but an abortionist? And most times we get a thought, we speak it before we think on the thought. Get it developed. And it must develop in darkness, like the womb of the female, the womb of the mind. Develop your ideas. Then develop the method, the plan of execution. The idea will bring up a picture of the completed thing. The picture is in your brain. You can draw it on a piece of paper so that you can keep the vision before your eyes. But putting it on paper isn't actualizing the vision. The vision is only actualized when you bring it into concrete reality.
Greetings, listeners. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, I bear witness that there is but one God. Welcome to the Black Agenda here on the Street 919 FM. Let me also greet you in the greeting words of peace of Assalamu Alaikum and Ramadan Mubarak. To all of the Muslims and also to all of those Muslims and non-Muslims who are fasting for the great month of Ramadan. I am Brother David Muhammad, and I'm going to be in studio with you up to 9 o'clock this morning, inshallah. And in a short while from now, we will open up the telephone lines and take your calls on 342-0081 and 466-5391. And you can also send text messages, WhatsApp messages, to me on 332-0215. 4. And also, we are live on I believe the Facebook page, but the YouTube channel as well of the Street 919 FM. Now, this was a truly fantastic week. Today marks 1 week that we have been fasting so far for the month of Ramadan. And as I would have said last week, when we just started fasting, that it was our intention, the Nation of Islam, to have iftar, or the breaking of the fast, every day at the Kwame Ture Center, Monday to Friday. Now, I was not 100% sure on exactly how it would have worked out, but it was, to me, bordering on miraculous. Because each day, up to yesterday, we had such great food. I mean, of course, we break our fast most of the time with dates, but we would have had dates, bananas, apples, watermelon, basic fruits, oranges as well, I saw. But the cooked food, I mean, all different kinds of vegetable rice, chunky vegetables, so well cooked. The lentil peas, the corn pie, we had chicken, we had fish, different salads, we had the bean pie. I mean, just so much. The cut up and, garlic provisions, yeah, the cassava and the breadfruit. Oh. Every day. And anyone who's in the building at the time is free to come and dine with us. And there were times where we thought, okay, the food is definitely going to run out this time. And there's still, it's like, for some reason, beloved, that happens. Same thing with Eid. And we're inviting you in advance to our Eid celebration. We're looking at May the 2nd, the public holiday, the Monday. But somehow, there's always food. No one ever comes. And we have to say to them, sorry. But it's such a beautiful experience. And, we'll have different brothers responsible for different menus. But our captain, Brother Brent Muhammad, did a great job this week. And then next week, we're starting all over again from Monday, inshallah. So it was really a blessed week. And, we pray together, we break the fast together, we come back and dine together, and all different kinds of guests as well. People just visiting the building, come in. People there for classes, people there for workshops, people at the Kwame Ture Center for all different kinds of other business. You're there at 6:20, 6:21 when we break in the fast. Come on, have a seat. Yeah. I also, let me mention, there's a great, truly great Trinidadian who passed recently. His name is Dr. John Campbell. Some of you may know him. But he passed away in 2018 at the age of 48. I first came into contact with him when I started my degree in education at the University of the West Indies. There's a foundation course which all students, regardless of what faculty you're in, must take, called Caribbean Civilization. he drafted that course, and back in 2004, this would have been, 18 years ago, I would have first met him, and such a brilliant, at that time he would have been in his 30s, young man, you know, and genius, scholar. I remember that first lecture, because we were school teachers who were doing a course, and he would have explained that, you know, there were never any people in Trinidad who called themselves Caribs and Arawaks. They were Taino, Kalinago. There were so many different peoples who had their different cultures, different ways of life, and to use terms Caribs and Arawaks to refer to the indigenous peoples is like calling all people from the Caribbean Jamaicans, or everyone in Africa Nigerians. You know, it's a kind of dishonorable disregard for the complexity of the cultural heritage of all of these different ethnic groups that populated the Caribbean region. You know, his course had went into depth also on the crimes against humanity, against African people through enslavement, that it was not a trade. Also the comparisons between indentureship and slavery, that, you know, one was a voluntary contract that the participant agreed to, which was indentureship. Enslavement, on the other hand, was kidnapping, human trafficking, genocide, rape, mass murder, and dehumanization. You make that distinction. You know, so Dr. John Campbell, admittedly, I didn't interface with him a whole lot because I wasn't in his faculty, which was humanities and education. I was in School of Education and also social sciences. But, you know, he was a great lecturer. But anyway, he passed from a very rare kind of muscular disorder where he would have lost body mass. It's such a shocking and sad story, but this would have been 3 or 4 years ago. But, you know, his family contacted us and said that they would like to donate his library to the Kwame Ture Center. So yesterday, we would have received close to 700 books, in addition to the books that are already there. And, you know, we have to sort them out and index them, but some incredible literature. You know, when you think you know a little bit, you're in a position to learn that there's a whole world of knowledge yet to be uncovered. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, you must go out seeking knowledge, even if it is in faraway China. He said that to his companions in Arabia. And he also said that the man seeking knowledge is on the pathway to God until he returns. So in other words, if you say, I am going out on a journey to seek knowledge, I am going to get knowledge, and then you come back on that journey and say, oh, I got the knowledge, you are so fooling yourself. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan used to say, you can take the most knowledgeable man on the planet and take everything that he knows and put it on the head of a pin, and it would have so much space to roll around. That's if you take everything that the most knowledgeable man on the planet knows. It could fit on the head of a pin, and it would have a lot of room to move. And you know, in my years, I would have heard people say things like, oh, I have a lot of knowledge. I know a lot of things. I have learned now. And, you know, I just keep quiet when I hear people talking like that. And it's really sad, honestly. But Dr. John Campbell, you know, may Allah be pleased with our brother. I know it's a while since he's passed, but our brother was truly a great man, and we're so grateful to his family for thinking of us in that capacity to make such a contribution. And I want to say as well, this reminds me of who they refer to as the greatest of them all, Dr. Ben Jochanan. His proper name is Dr. Yusuf Ben Yochanan. But they look at how his name is spelled and they call him Dr. Ben Jochanan. When I first came into the Nation of Islam in the early 1990s, all the talk was about Dr. Ben Jochanan, the great African historian. But in 2002, Dr. Ben Yochanan, he showed up at a Nation of Islam meeting in New York. This was October 16th, 2002. And he made it because I went to see Dr. Ben Yochanan, and he spoke at the Port of Spain Library, the old library, in 1994, when I just started doing this work. And it was like seeing a superstar meeting Dr. Ben Yochanan. And if anyone is listening tonight who was at that lecture, they will remember him. You know, a man stood up in the audience and said, you know, Dr. Ben, but why you have to dwell on the past? Listen, consciousness in Trinidad was a bit strange in the late 1980s, early 1990s. You know, trust me, I can tell you. I was, 23 years old. Going into Woodford Square and speaking, but I was 23 years old when I started a radio program on Radio Trinidad, 7:30 a.m. A half-hour program called Farrakhan Speaks. It was $400 a week, and I used to get ads. The ideal program was to get 10 ads for $40, or 5 ads at $80. However, and I remember Blackman Supermarket, Armstrong's Funeral Home, Jordan's Print Tree, you know, some of the stores in the drag mall. I mean, here I am walking around on foot telling people, listen, we want to put Brother Farrakhan on the radio. But I'm raising money, doing these ads and stuff. And we would record the ads at home, and I'll put some music in the background. Man, those were the days. But anyway, this is 1993, 1994. I'm a youth. And we put together these ads. And I went to Radio Trinidad. And Andy Johnson was there back then. That's when I met Andy Johnson. This is 93, 94. And I did a promo with, around that time, Minister Farrakhan was doing all the men-only meetings leading up to the Million Man March. And I did a promo where we had a clip of someone introducing Minister Farrakhan. There's a brother Harold Muhammad in New Orleans, So all you hear, this is the promo you're hearing on the radio. You hear, I must try to get that clip as well. But you hear this crowd roaring. And you hear this voice come up and say, are you ready to hear from the boldest, the baddest black man on the face of the planet Earth? Let us receive the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And hear this stadium of like tens of thousands of people. Yeah! Now, when I gave that to Radio Trinidad in 1994, they called me and said, David, we need you to come in. We need to discuss something. And they said to me, we cannot put this on the radio. Now, I want you to think about this. This is Trinidad, 1994. And an advertisement referring to someone as the boldest, the baddest black man on the face of the planet Earth, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, that was considered to be a bit too hostile, a bit too pro-black, a bit too kind of threatening. Now, interestingly, I brought back that same promo around 1997, 98, and it wasn't a problem. But I want you to get an idea of Trinidad. When I started doing this, 1992, 1993, black consciousness was not welcomed in this town, beloved. Trust me. It was not welcomed, especially in media. Now, around Emancipation Day, you know, you'll get your little TV programming and stuff, but year-round, no. Remember, those were the days when we had African politicians laughing at the thought of them wearing African clothes. Think about this. This is Trinidad in the 1990s. In fact, up to around that time, thinking back, I don't know if we would have had hardly any African politicians who would have put on a dashiki. Apart from NJAC, I'm talking about government ministers, members of government. Nah. And then slowly but surely, consciousness began to spread. But I was making a point about, you know, Trinidad in the 1990s and coming up to today. And that's been a journey, my beloved people. A journey. I was making some other point that led me into that. But we have to live this legacy and pass it on to the young people. Back then, too, I mean, the education system, the acceptance of the image of a white Jesus. It was, I mean, to say that Jesus was a black man back then, and yeah, people know it, people understood it, but it was still considered to be at least a little bit revolutionary. To some people, it still is now. But most people have come to accept this. And you see, this is how institutionalized racism works. Understand this, beloved. See, for many of us, it starts off with the religion. Jesus was a black man who lived in northeast Africa. If you look at the map, all these areas known as the town of Bethlehem, Nazareth, Jerusalem, Palestine, Israel. It is all in Northeast Africa long before there was ever any European migration into that region. Dark-skinned African people. Jesus was a black man in Northeast Africa, but through the colonial conquest, they have restructured his image into a white Caucasian European who looks like he came from Switzerland or Sweden. And the thing is, when you confront falsehood with truth, they tell you, well, it doesn't matter whether he's black or white. Okay, fine. But this isn't so much about black or white as it is about wrong or right. But they tell you, Jesus as the Son of God, the Son is white. Therefore, the Father must also be white. So if Jesus is white, then God is white. And in the same narrative, they promote black inferiority. But it doesn't stop there. From the religion, it goes over to the educational system. Then in the educational system, we're learning about the greatness of Europe and the glory of European societies and civilizations. And we learn about Africa being a continent of savages, our people swinging from trees, living in jungles with no language or culture. And then the educational system promotes a European supremacy. But it doesn't stop there. It goes over into the economy. And then in the economy, we see stratification and segregation by social class, which is along the same lines of race and ethnicity, and the rich ruling over the poor and the borrower being a slave to the lender. And economic hardships and the majority of our people living in ghettos. But it doesn't stop there. The same miseducation of a white Jesus in the religion, which is then now supported by the narrative of the backwardness of Africa in the educational system, which is now given a present-day contemporary kind of experience with the economy, then all of that is reinforced through the media. And so all of the brainwashing, all of the negativity about Africa, the media now reinforces that, and then it ends with the culture. Because if you take one of our talented, brilliant youth who just turned 18 years old, about to enter into the entertainment industry, he's about to write a song to sing for the public. What's he going to sing about? Well, he's going to sing, or whatever he sings, whatever ideas are in his music would be a reflection of the white supremacy and black inferiority promoted by the religion and the miseducation and post-colonial slavery teaching that was reinforced in the school system, and then the reality of social class discrimination and stratification and ghettoization within the economy, and then the reinforcement of all of those negative images and visuals and narratives in the media. Now, coming over to the culture, that youth is going to produce entertainment products that are a reflection of all of the toxic experiences that his mind would have had coming up under his first 17 years. So now he's going to sing a song. He's going to write music about shooting and killing and murdering his own brother. That's entertainment now. Disrespecting the black woman, or getting drunk, smoking weed, getting high, taking drugs, disrespecting some sisters. And the funny thing is that when he, as a product of the society that we have been developing, when he now, a product of everything and everywhere that we have went wrong, when he now at age 18 begins to manifest that character, we who created the society and managed the society and maintained the society as it is, we're ready to condemn him. So he goes out, picks up a gun, robs a store, commits a crime, And then we in our frustration say, oh, the young people these days, they're so terrible. Lock them up. And when fratricide is committed by our black police officers, killing black youth, we now say, oh, kill them, take them to jail, lock them up, throw away the key. We need to get rid of them. Oh, but you didn't need to get rid of yourself when you were creating that kind of society for them? Wow. Wow. It's on us, beloved. Let me tell you, we have so much happening right now at the Kwame Ture Center. But in the month of June, inshallah, we are opening our Boys Academy. We set a date last year. It was supposed to have been June the 5th last year. And then the lockdown went back into effect and we had to postpone those plans. But this year, June. So listen, tomorrow, our young sisters are back out. So the sisters are having, once again, more sessions for the Girls Academy, the Young Black Queens Club. And tomorrow they're having a whole afternoon session. So I'm lecturing at the Kwame Ture Center every Sunday. So I'm there tomorrow morning from 11 o'clock. We're finishing by 1 o'clock. And then the Sisters Academy starts at 2. And the age group is from 8 to 18. From 8 years old to 18 years old. And we have powerful black women teaching them, guiding them, training them, teaching them on issues of the power of the black woman, the great achievements and accomplishments of black women, how the sisters must respect themselves, aim for the stars, achieve as much as they can, break through barriers. Don't let anyone hold them back. Be proud of your beautiful black skin. Don't let yourself be a target of abuse. To not let this society objectify our black women. So that's tomorrow from 2 o'clock. There has been registration going on, but even if you'd like your daughters to attend or young sisters who are listening who would like to attend, you can still come on the day and register and be a part of it. Okay? It's a fantastic program. The last ones that we would have had would have been about 2 years ago, before the pandemic. Right? So the Young Black Queens Club. The theme of this session is going to be melanin magic. Oh, come on, man. Teaching our young black sisters of their greatness. Learn of all the great queens of Africa. Queen Nefertiti, Queen Nefertari, Queen Makeda, Queen of Sheba, Queen Hatshepsut, and the brilliant woman, the leaders, Harriet Tubman, Sojourner Truth. The sister who just was appointed the first ever black woman on the panel of the Supreme Court judges, Sister Ketunji Jackson. Let our young black girls learn about black women who are scientists, who are astronauts, who are civil rights leaders, who are professionals who have established institutions in all these fields of human endeavor. They want us to have our young black girls thinking that all they could ever be are objects on display for a fete or a dirty alcohol advertisement. So they wish that for our young black sisters. That's the vision they, when I say they, you know exactly who I'm talking about. That is the vision that they have for our young black sisters, just like the vision that they have for our community is for us to permanently be their minimum wage workers. See that narrative right there? They want us to be happy when we get jobs from them. And the last thing that they ever want is for us to get conscious to the point where we look towards opening our own businesses, establishing our own movements and organizations that are not centered around us with our hands out begging and asking and for something. And you see that Kwame Ture Center that we built? Yes, at the time when we were building it, I did want, I'm telling you straight up, I'm being totally honest with you. Yes, at the time when we were building the Kwame Ture Center, yes, I did want help from the government. Yes, I did want support from the government. Yes, I did want help and support from the business sector. I did. But we got not a single cent from any of them. And maybe that worked out for the better. Because in looking back at it now, we can show what black power can do. And I mean, people who come, every week we have people who come to that center for the first time, who never came before. And they all marvel, thinking that, oh, something like this could only be done if you get a big handout from the government or say something good about the politicians. And look, we're in the month of Ramadan now. You see, they hate black conscious Muslims. And I'm telling you, let me not try to jinx anything like that, but we're in the month of Ramadan now, and you'll see what happens at the end of Ramadan, as it happens every year. The African Muslims, us, we have to raise money to feed our people within our community who would visit us. And they give out all the Indian Muslims, all of the Indian Muslims. First up, what kind of grant from the government, check from the government, financial support from the government? What are we going to do, shut down because the government doesn't support African Muslims in the same way? Come on, you're not even going to waste 10 seconds complaining about that. We have to work. And in the long run, it works out. Maybe even better, because, I mean, all things work for good for those who love the Lord, but we have the opportunity to share a narrative. We can do this on our own. We can open our own businesses. We can establish our own institutions. We can manage our own organizations and clubs. We can do it. We don't have to be beggars and borrowers as they want us to be. We'll be right back.
The views expressed are not necessarily the views of the management of the Street 919 FM.
And you make a song. Take my short and you make it long. Keep my feet firmly on the ground. When I'm weak, yeah, you make me strong. So for you know I sing this this song. Everybody hands up and sing it with me. We are something special, hey, very special, hey, something special, hey, hey, hey. We are something special, hey, very special, hey, something special, hey, hey. See when I tell you, no, no. See when I tell you, no, no. See when I tell you, no, no. Hey, hey, very special, no, no. See when I tell you, no, no. See when I tell you, no, no. Where we going, where we going, where we going? We up and down, we all around. We going country, we going down. We going east, we going west. You know we friendship, it is the best. We up and down, we all around. We going country, we going down. We going down to the ground, 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 to the ground. We are something special, hey, very special, hey, something special, hey, hey, hey. We are something special, hey, very special, hey, something special, hey, hey. See when I tell you, no, no. See when I tell you, no, no. See when I tell you, no, no. Hey, hey, very special, no, no. See when I tell you, no, no. See when I tell you, no, no. Hey, hey, hey. When I tell you, I tell you. I say what I tell you when I tell you. I mean it. I tell you when I tell you what I tell you when I tell you. I mean it. I'm telling you what I tell you when I tell you when I tell you what I tell you. I mean it.
Looking for a safe and relaxed professional massage therapist and nutritionist? Look no further. Nature's Touch with Empress Judy and Associates offers a natural approach to better health. Treat yourself to a professional massage therapy and nutrition advice in a safe and relaxed atmosphere. Rejuvenate your body, mind, and soul at Nature's Touch Therapy. For an appointment, please call or WhatsApp 1-868-398-8282 or visit our Facebook page. Remember, your health is our responsibility at Nature's Touch.
London, get ready! Pretty British, Brother J, and Ali Berry presents Caribbean Soca Madness Part 1. Drink your water and mind my business.
I go drink water and mind my business.
Saturday, April 16th at the Onyx venue, 27A Queensway, Bletchley, Milton Keynes, featuring the big man in the business, Iwer George.
Yes, and this is me, Iwer George, the big boss in the business. April 16th, Soca Madness Part 1. Yes, I'm going to be in London. I'm coming to shell it.
If I had one wish, mash up the place. One more time, mash up the place. I shall on the place. And Skinny Fabulous.
You know what I'm saying, yo, London, April 16th, it's all about the Caribbean Soca Madness Part 1. I will be there.
Music by DTTP, Rigo Suave, the Stage God, Selector G, Survival number 1, and DJ Wince. Tickets available on Eventbrite UK. Early bird tickets, £25 from March 6th. For more info, call Allison at 447588376951. Trini British 447404-050703. And Brother J 447508-862 718. Saturday, April 16th. Caribbean Soca Madness Part 1. London, it's your turn.
Roger Garraway and his community of creatives present The Royal Exhibit, a 3-day art exhibition, Wednesday, April 27th to Friday, April 29th, Queen's Park, Savannah. Daily start time, 11:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. under the auspices of the MP for St. Anne's East, Dr. Nyan Gaspidali. The greatest and finest pieces ever witnessed by local artists in Trinidad and Tobago will be on display for purchase. Come to this wonderful event and walk away owning a masterpiece that can be displayed in your home or passed down for generations to come. Roger Garraway has now made his mark on the international market, breaking barriers and setting the standard high. He and his group of friends will wow you with their out-of-this-world pieces. This event cannot be missed. You can also enjoy the opportunity to browse and purchase fantastic one-of-a-kind handmade art and craft pieces created by local designers from the community. Special guest appearances by Patrice Roberts, Michael Edwards and friends, Iwer George, Roxanne Lane, Gracie, and Joey Rivers and his band. Food and drinks on sale. Secured parking for all vehicles and all COVID-19 protocols will be observed. Special thank you to the Member of Parliament for St. Anne's East, Dr. Nyan Gaspidali.
From the studio to the stage every Friday between 3 to 4 p.m. right here on the street, 919 FM. Radio you can see. Log on to our Facebook and YouTube so you can see live interviews and performances from some of our very own local superstars. Right here on the street, 919 FM.
Better vision for your physical eyes, and through the eyes of faith, let healing arise in your mind, body, and spirit. At Natural Healing Ministries, we teach kingdom principles for living that brings the blessing of God to your mind, body, and soul.
NHM Professional Associates are located at number 10 Moody Stewart Street, Monrepos, San Fernando. For more info, contact Dr. Desmond Phillip at NHM on 349-3494.
NHM Professional Associates can be heard live on the street 919 FM every Saturday from 9:05 to 9:55 a.m.
Blessings in the wonderful name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. You are invited to listen to the Final Hour broadcast heard every Monday from 12 midnight to 5 a.m. in the morning on the street 919 FM radio. Hear my mom, Pastor Helen Garcia, and myself, Pastor Valentine Garcia Jr., preach the word of God to the elderly, youth, and children. We can be contacted at 629-0113 or 623-8444. The church is located at 26 Prince Street in Port of Spain. We look forward to you joining us. God bless you.
As my life I lay it on the altar, as my life.
Hey, Dynamic Crew alongside Iwer George presents Soca Come. Featuring the boss himself, Iwer George. Iwer George. The boss man of soca.
Yo, this is Iwer George, the big boss in the business, and I'm going to be in Grand Cinnamon on the 14th of April, Canada, forward 6 at Commenters.
It's all going down the 14th of April at the Grand Cinnamon Banquet and Convention Center, Toronto, 3895 McNichol Avenue, Toronto, Ontario, 9 p.m. till. Tickets are just $35. Get them now at ticketgateway.com. Hey, so all you link up Dynamic Crew. It's all about soca. Featuring Iwer George in concert.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iwer George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
Brotherhood is required. Brotherhood is demanded. Brotherhood is obligatory.
Black man, get up. Black man, stand up. Black man, you better listen.
So there's a need for brotherhood.
Black man, get up. Black man, stand up. Black man, you better listen. Black man, get up. Black man, stand up. Black man, you better listen.
Brotherhood is demanded.
Black man, get up. Black man, stand up. Black man, you better listen.
Brotherhood is required. Brotherhood is demanded. Brotherhood is obligatory. Brotherhood is essential, it is urgent, and it is compulsory. But the time demands brotherhood. Whenever the dominant white society fears for its economic future, racial tensions are always aggravated. The aim of Almighty God is is to bring the black man and woman together. The aim of Almighty God is that we, no matter how divided we have been in the past, must experience unity in order to gain the success that we seek and the progress that we desire. There is no way that a divided people can build a future. Brotherhood is required. Brotherhood is demanded. So there's a need for brotherhood. But if you walk the earth proud and arrogant, you never learn your lesson because you think you already know. And how the hell could you know and be in the shape that we're in? How can there be any brotherhood if there's not even the honoring of a word?
Black man, get up. Black man, stand up. Black man, you better listen. Black man, get up. Black man, stand up. Black man, you better listen. Black man, get up. Black man, stand up. Black man, you better listen.
But the Quran and the Bible bear witness that the heavens and the earth were created with truth.
Black man, stand up. Black man, you better listen.
Brotherhood is required. Brotherhood is demanded. Brotherhood is obligatory. Brotherhood is essential. It is urgent and it is compulsory. I feel that every man that wants to speak should have the right. And if you think you know it better, get on up and get on and do the job. But if you don't know what to do, and all your mouth is able to do is condemn and criticize, but you have no works to show the rightness of your philosophical adherence, then maybe you should rethink your position.
Welcome back and welcome to the second hour of the Black Agenda here on the Street 919 FM. We're going up to 9 o'clock. Ramadan Mubarak once again, beloved family. So I'll be lecturing at the Kwame Ture Center tomorrow morning, 11 o'clock, inshallah. And then we have the Girls Academy from 2 p.m. Young sisters from 8 to 18. And our sisters will be running that program. Of course, Sister Roxanne Muhammad, some of our other sisters, Dr. Eugenia Springer, who's a very integral part of what we're doing at the Kwame Ture Center. So many great people. Let me say good morning to Dr. Desmond Phillips and his wife, Dr. Angina Phillips, as well. Also central to the work that we're doing at the Kwame Ture Center. They run the health clinic every Friday throughout the day. All right, and so much going on. We have the public speaking workshops starting back soon. The date was just postponed due to the amount of time that it was advertised and some other clashes. But soon, once again, public speaking workshops will start back. We should have another African Expo sometime in May. African Unity Conference, May 28th. Okay, and then Boys Academy coming in June. The lessons continuing right up to CXC exams, which will be in May and June. So, I mean, there's so much happening. So let me open up the phone lines. Just one last thing I want to say regarding you would have noticed Friday nights. There's live football on television. The new league, the Ascension League, And I want to say I'm supporting the league 100%, okay? This is it's a great initiative because you can see that a lot of investments have gone into it. And in this country, a lot of these businessmen, they like to put their money behind cricket, but not football. So the Ascension League is live on television in Trinidad. Our league is also live on television in Jamaica on Sportsmax. And there are these really big crowds. Friday nights, the main ground is La Hoqueta. But they also have games, I think, at the police barracks, and there's one other venue. Now, I intend to start attending. Maybe after Ramadan, I'd at least go and see one of the games because I used to go to so much football. And I'm really missing being in a live audience at a football match. And the crowds are really good. The crowds are really, really good. So I'm supporting the Ascension League 100%, but I'm still holding on to, as far as I'm concerned, there was a really bad start because the national team should not have, the league should not have been playing at the same time on the same day that the national team had a game. That should not have happened. It was disrespectful. I don't care what excuse there is because I've spoken to a good few people over the last couple of weeks since that happened, and I've heard some reasons and excuses, but I don't accept any of them really. A league should not be playing a match at the same time as the national team. That's my position on that. Anyway, moving on from that, I see it's very good quality games. A lot of the great players that I've worked with in the past too, I'm seeing them on television every Friday evening. I'm enjoying it very much. All right. A lot of those times I'm with my parents at that time, looking at the games, and it's great to have that back. Okay, so we've gotten over that last year. I hope it never happens again because, as I said, when I was manager of the national team, the national team has a game or a schedule, sometimes not even a game, a schedule, a training schedule. We would meet together with all of the heads of the pro league teams, and they will agree to either postpone or reschedule their club activities for the sake of the national team. That I don't think has ever happened before in our history, where you have a league game playing at the same time as a national team. This was 2 weeks ago. But, like I said, we're moving on from that. And it's good to see. I mean, there's a lot of great players. We have the players. We also have some games coming up against Nicaragua and St. Vincent. We have to support also the women's team. The women's team is going to be playing in Tobago soon. All right. Said so much, man. This is how it is on a Saturday morning these days. Okay, so 3420081 and 4665391. Caller, are you there?
Hello, morning.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, brother David.
How you doing?
Hey, fine, thank you, bro.
Good.
And what's up with you? You okay?
I am very well, thank you.
Yeah, man, good to hear that.
Yes,
good to hear that. How we say it, Ramadan Mubarak to all the Muslims.
Yeah, Ramadan Kareem, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I always admire, I always tell you that I admire these aspects of.
Well, you must drop by. You must drop by at 6:20 any evening during the week, and we'll hook you up.
Will do. Brother David.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, me. If you want to eradicate poverty, eradicate the economic system.
Ouch. You were just hitting the nail on the head right there. That's like the perfect start to any call. Not sure what happened though. But our numbers are 3420081 and 4665391. Caller, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, David Mohammed.
Good morning to you.
How are you doing?
I'm great, thank you.
Yeah, this is the guy from Sunday with the job.
Right, yes.
Yeah.
Weren't you supposed to get back to me on something?
Huh?
Weren't you supposed to get back to me on something?
I talked to Akim, name. You understand? He I told him what happened. I don't think I saw the message there. What happened? I'm doing 2 jobs right now.
Right.
And the workforce, I was explaining the workforce cannot stretch the, because what will happen, what some contractors does, right?
Mm-hmm.
They block work. They block work and frustrate the customer who they're doing the job for, right? Like they'll take a job and block it because they figure, well, you know, I don't know if it's a money thing, right? But they will block the work and they're not showing up most of the days for the week.
Right.
Somebody else could be doing the job and the customer is being frustrated because why is contractor not coming all these months of days, 3 days, if I see him for 2 days for the week, because they're doing so many jobs.
All right.
And
But you could have communicated that directly to me, though.
No, well, maybe, I don't know, I pass it on to the guy who is on too.
Understood.
Yeah.
Understood.
Yeah, all right. So, what I want to say this morning is the football is great. I was listening to the football match last night, I think, it was Calcutta win.
Yeah, what was the final score? Because I saw like 9-2.
I get sleepy. 9-2?
9, that's what I saw. I'm sure that's what I saw.
About 3-2.
3-2? I don't know if the score was ever 3-2 in that game. Against Maruga, right? Against Maruga.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
Yeah, but I get sleepy and I went and lied down and things. So
you probably thought you were dreaming.
Yeah. So, but the football is going good. And I mean to say, I'm listening from since they opened the competition there.
Yeah.
These guys have a lot of talented footballers in Trinidad and Tobago.
An abundance.
I don't understand why Trinidad and Tobago is not in the World Cup. So many World Cup. Trinidad missing out on so much talent. Is the wrong, I don't know if it's the coach, if it's the wrong set people that hiring us coach. I don't know what's going on.
It's resources. It's resources. And I could make a big argument on that. It's resources. I mean, even we are starved of resources. Ever since Jack Warner has withdrawn from the game, you know, we've had some great moments in between, but for the most part, it's really, really difficult. And if we look at the Chelsea Football Club, right? Mm-hmm. Chelsea, who have been having a magnificent season ever since this Russia-Ukraine conflict. Remember, the owner of the Chelsea Football Club is a Russian, and they've frozen his assets, and they put the club under all kinds of restrictions. They can't sell tickets. They have to use cheaper transportation. They're not getting as much equipment. And just from that, I mean, how long has that been going on? About a month or 5 weeks, if so long?
But it's about a month now. They see that right. The asset of this.
But look at the effect. Just simple resources. Look at the effect it's having on the team. Because Chelsea, they lost 4-1 to Brentford last week. And then they lost again 3-1 to Real Madrid. And then I think they lost some other game. The quality of the performances of the team is taking a nosedive. And that is simple resources. But that is what has been happening to Trinidad and Tobago over a prolonged period of time. Okay.
So you figure out because when Jack Warner was there, the team was getting more sponsors and all that.
Of course.
Financially.
Of course. No, he was supporting the team. It's like, and naturally more sponsorship would come. But I mean, you know, that is a major issue.
But what I'm saying, right? There's not so many companies in Trinidad. I mean, to say when you watch world football, most of the sponsors, and you watch around the football field with all the different billboards and all that. You're seeing all these huge companies sponsoring football, like in Europe and all these different places. You can see even, right? So we have so much companies here. I mean, to say making millions of dollars when they come.
They will only put sponsorship in when the game becomes. If they know that they will get some kind of returns, then only then and only then will they put money in. But they're not going to put money in to support the sport. They'll do that for cricket. They'll do it for cricket, but they won't do it for football unless they're getting something directly out of it. It's sad, but it's the truth.
But it's true. When Trinidad make it to the World Cup, right?
Uh-huh.
Did they have any big sponsors like Angosturas, Carib, and all these different,
listen,
you know.
When we went to the World Cup, it's like, first of all, you had Jack Warner at the forefront of the Football Association. Back then it was a federation. And then, you know, you just see different people come on board. Digicel, do you know the Caribbean Cup? Right after Trinidad and Tobago went to the World Cup, the Caribbean Cup was actually called, they changed the name, it was called the Digicel Cup. Years ago it used to be the Shell Cup. Remember Shell? Right, it became the Digicel Cup. And while we're playing the Digicel Cup, and I remember getting all kinds of paraphernalia from Digicel, all kinds of stuff, all kind of clothes and T-shirts and hats and cases and stuff. And then TSTT sponsoring at the same time. Then we had Adidas. Adidas was our brand at the time. Listen, there's so much that I could talk about, you know, back then.
Well, in other words, what happened? If you're not doing well, you're not going to get sponsored. When you're doing well,
right? If it's not doing well, then the sponsorship would pull back. But the point that I'm making, though, is with cricket, whether they're doing well or not, there are certain business interests that will invest in it to try to bring it up to standard.
Is it because of the past West Indies records, like in the days of the Bishops and the Ambrose and
that would
the
be part of it. That would be part of it.
That?
The golden
and
age.
And Richard and them.
Yeah, the golden age.
They have a history. So when you hear West Indies, it's like a brand name, you know?
Yeah, but Trinidad, listen, a lot of our people don't realize it, right? But Trinidad also has, considering all things considered, and maybe one day I'll do a program about this, but Trinidad also has a very good history with football. Do you know that still, right now, still?
You remember the days of Bobby Haynes?
Yes, but I'm saying that still, in the Caribbean, we have the most... I used to have all these statistics at the top of my head, but up to a few years ago, right, Trinidad and Tobago had the most... I think we still do have the most Caribbean Cup titles. So when we had either 8 or 9, Jamaica had about 4 or 5. And it was only Trinidad and Jamaica and one other country had won the Caribbean Cup. But there were times when Trinidad used to win every single year or every 2 years. Now, Cuba won the other day. They beat us in a final 1-0. That was the first time that Cuba won. Someone else won. Can't remember. But we were on top of things. Listen, let me tell you something, right? When I was manager of the Soca Warriors, which was from 2007 to 2011, and then 2013 to 2016. Under Jack Warner, just a fleeting moment, our team was unbeaten from January to June 2008 until we met England. It took England to break our deadline. We went to the most hostile environment in Washington, D.C. We beat El Salvador 3-1 in the most hostile stadium. Beat El Salvador 3-1. Then we went to Cuba. We beat Cuba 3-1 in their own country. Then we went to Guatemala, worst environment of all. Drew 1-1 with Guatemala to come back to Trinidad to beat USA 2-1. Then
I remember.
Then a couple months after that, we went to Argentina. We spent a month in Argentina and played 5 games against Argentine club teams. We lost 1, drew 2, and won 2. Now this is against top quality football. This is the land of Maradona. And we actually beat the club Tigre 3-2. And Tigre had finished in the top 3 in the top league at that time. To leave Argentina to go to El Salvador. We were leading El Salvador 2-0 in their own country. I mean, that was an unfortunate ending. We ended up drawing 2-2. But we had a list of consistent positive results. I used to travel to these countries in advance, about 2 weeks ahead. Make sure that we're staying in the best hotel. Make sure that we have the best transportation. Back then, the match fees, I mean, I don't want to discuss the money too much, but the players were being paid, this is like 10 years ago. The players were being paid double, triple, quadruple what they're being paid now. How could you come 10 years later and get a fraction of your payments from 10 years ago? It's insane. So clearly, the quality of it will drop. And I'll tell you one last thing I'll show you. You see, the same way we spent a month in Argentina, right? A full month in Argentina. And the kind of preparation and training that the players got. We had another month scheduled to spend in Scotland. And we were going to play, we had matches planned against teams like Hibernian and Rangers through Russell Latterby. The coach at that time was fired, who was Francisco Maturana, and his team from Colombia. Listen, when that happened, that trip, that month in Scotland was cancelled, and instead we had a tour to St. Kitts.
Oh.
Imagine you replacing a whole month training in Scotland, playing against all these top teams for one game against St. Kitts, which we won 3-2. We struggled in that game.
I want to say one thing before.
Yeah.
Don't
get me started on this.
I have history of Trinidad football team. Trinidad has a history of about 100 years. You can say about 100 years of rich, let me say, rich football.
Yeah.
In Trinidad and Tobago. Where Trinidad, where America and Mexico didn't want nothing with Trinidad. You understand? Trinidad used to be running through them team. El Salvador, Guatemala. Well, Trinidad, America was not even picture as yet in Canada. You understand? That was in the days. You understand? But what I can't understand...
Look at Canada now. Canada just finished on top. On top. The CONCACAF. Look at Panama. We beat Panama 6-0 in the Queen's Park Oval for World Cup qualifiers back when Dwight York, this was just before I became manager. Look at Panama now. Right? But you mentioned Canada, not meaning to cut you. But when I was in Canada...
Right? I have to top up, right? So you go and talk.
All right, but when I went to Canada as manager of the national under-23 team. This is in 2015. This was during Ramadan. It was a fantastic month for me as well because the sun was setting at 9:30 in the night. And I would go to the restaurant, breakfast every night in the restaurant, 9:30. That was 2015. Anyway, I remember someone said when we were in Canada, they said, of everywhere that they've ever been, they've never seen in any other country women the term he used was sweating, meaning playing football on the block. You know, just being out there, a little basketball court, a little patch of grass, like a little savannah, small goal. Women, same way how you see men when you pass Eddie Hart Savannah and McCoy, and all those little football fields. You're driving around the savannah, you see like 2 5-a-side, different people playing football. Right. In Canada, you've seen that with women. Now, clearly, the Canadian team and the American team, the women's, they're on top of their game. But there has to be a culture behind it, the kind of support that's given, the kind of resources. It makes the full difference with the teams. All right, and Trinidad, again, we've had some fantastic moments with Stephen Hart when we beat Jamaica in Jamaica for the first time since like 1948 or something like that. Under Dennis Lawrence, again, beating USA, knocking them out of the World Cup. We've had these good moments, but we haven't had the consistency. And I think with the Ascension League up and running, and you have all these different teams, a lot of good talent is going to come out of that. All right, enough about football. Caller, good morning.
Pleasant morning to you, Doctor.
Good morning.
Doctor, my hand was on this box, you know. Doctor, that's when the program is good. Doctor, permit me to congratulate you and thank you for the many years you have given service to Trinidad and Tobago. From when you would have started that program, I stood with you. And Doctor, from then till now, I want to congratulate you. I tell you what, not for 1 minute for that 25 years or more, you never took away nobody's life as a journalist, as a host, as someone who is a teacher, but you kept everyone and gave them the free reign and independence. But permit me to go somewhere this morning. I want to start my contribution by calling at least 4 communities on the eastward corridor. Sealots, Junjun, Morver, Babylon Street, and all the areas. And I'll tell you why I'm going there. This week, Watson Duke started working from the beacon, and he went to Babylon Street. But you know what I was taken back by? Young black men were following him. And on all radio stations and social media, you know what people started doing, African people? Because they were working with Watson Duke, they started calling them criminal, murderers, and pilferers.
Oh, come on.
Now,
serious.
Yes, Doctor. Yes, Doctor. And I am saying these are African brothers from the same community that these people belong to. And because they are working with Watson Duke, they were called Watson Duke working with criminals. Now, you tell me, and I am saying we cannot reach so low as a people, regardless of that person's political affiliation. I am saying when you brand these young men criminal because they're working with somebody that you believe you do not want to be in your political space, I am saying, Dr. Mohammed, that needs to be condemned to the high heaven. And this is not taking a political side here, but I'm saying to the end of the day, and you always say it here, even though you didn't love the politics of Dr. Riley, you must respect him as an African brother. And you always tell me that here. And I'm saying, why we cannot give the same olive branch to Watson Duke, but what is really disturbing in all of this is when they call these African brothers from Felix, Babylon Street, and they say only criminal Watson Duke could work with. Now you tell me, Dr. Mohammed.
All right, but let me tell you this, right? As you know, and I said at the beginning of the program, every day for this week we had Iftar, Nation of Islam, at the Kwame Ture Center. Yesterday, Watson Duke and some of his team members visited. They were in the area. They were touring the Beetham. They came across by the Kwame Ture Center, and as with everyone who comes onto our compound at Iftar time, breaking the fast, we welcomed them in. They had some of our food. We met some of the young people that he was with. There was about 8 of them. They were some remarkable, respectable young people. You know, a couple of them asked some questions. They listened to the programs. They've been following up on what's going on. Some of them in particular were some really smart young people. And I was impressed, and I congratulated Brother on his recent victory and success in his in his efforts into me. I don't believe in the system. I don't vote. I don't believe that there's any liberation in politics for me, but that man is my brother. And I support him in his endeavors, just like the Prime Minister. I don't believe in the system that the Prime Minister is part of. I don't believe in those politics. But that black man who's the Prime Minister of this country is my brother. Just like the African people in the UNC party, David Naked. David Naked is the only, unfortunately, the only African Muslim in the entire Parliament of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, in the cabinet, in the upper house, in the lower house, in the judiciary, in the Senate. The only one African Muslim. And I know how this society feels about African Muslims, but I don't support his political party, but he is my African Muslim brother, as Fitzgerald Hines, the Member of Parliament of Laventille, the Minister of National Security. I don't support their politics, but he is my brother first. The Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley, is my brother first before he's Prime Minister. Watson Duke is my brother first before he's in the Tobago or THA or PDP or whatever it is. David Naked is my brother first before he's a UNC senator or any of that. And that is how it is with all of my people who are involved in politics. I don't attack them or insult them or try to degrade them or disrespect them. I don't believe in the system that they believe in, but they are my brothers first.
And I close with this, doctor. And I'm saying this. It was unfortunate, and I believe the same callers we will call here, I believe they should speak and desist. Because when you label these young men criminals because of their political preference and choice and independence, it is sad. But I ask you one thing this morning, doctor. I seek your protection when I come out to earth. I beg of your indulgence. But I'll tell you why. They do not respect me as a national awardee. This is one of the African brothers who have been on radio for the past 35 years. And because of my political affiliation, and I am African, they disrespect me every day. Every time they get a chance, they do it. So with this contribution I made, I am saying shame, and it is wrong to call these young men who walk into a studio criminals. Power in the house, I seek your protection, brother. God bless.
All right, thank you. Now, I'm really sorry to hear about that, but you know what? Okay, I know that there are people who are upset with me because I don't support any political party or I don't vote or that I publicly say that I don't vote. I know there are people who are upset with me for that, but the same people who are unhappy with me for taking that position, sometimes through their conduct and through their behavior, give even more reasons why not to support that system. They give even more justification to not want to be a part of it. Listen, there's a narrative that has been playing around in my mind, which I'll hold back on for a bit, but I could hardly think of 2 or 3 persons that I know who support political parties, who have unconditionally supported a political party because they think it is good. Hardly anyone. Like I said, about 2 or 3 come to mind. But for most, and one particular person that I spoke to maybe about, I don't know, I think it was about 2 years ago or so, you know, people will actually tell you, oh, no, well, I just had to say that because, you know, such and such and so and so. Basically, it's a game. People will say things about other people, about political parties, because that's what is supposed to be said in order to get the favor or get the benefits or get whatever it is that's being sought after. And to me, being exposed to that makes it even worse. Okay, well, I wasn't supporting the system before, but now that I know this, that you just told me, I'm withdrawing my support for it even further. And this has become a haven for our self-destruction. Politics in this country is a process by which whites get rich, Syrians get rich or richer, Chinese get richer, Indians are supported and empowered. But when it comes to Africans, you have 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 who are handpicked and empowered. But regardless of which political party we're supporting, we are the crabs in the barrel. So you have 2 major political parties, but we African people become the crabs in the barrel, targeting each other for those major parties, bringing each other down, making a science out of it. How could you expect me to be a part of that process? Caller, good morning.
Hey, good morning, sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, I just want to put... Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Well, I just want to put my 2 cents.
Mm-hmm.
In 2010, that is when I started getting really conscious. I just tell it my perspective now. And you know how I started getting conscious? Well, I did not get married. So we had the ordinary big TV now. So my wife was telling me, when she passed away now.
Oh,
my
sorry
wife was,
to hear that, man.
Yeah.
How did she die, if you don't mind me asking?
Cervical cancer.
Oh, how old was she?
49.
Oh, man. How old are you, please?
Me?
Yeah.
I was 47.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So, she said, Marcus, let me buy the smart TV. Well, I didn't really watch into that. Well, let's forget about that now. Let's talk about that now. So, when it was out, we went by smart family by the smart TV. And she told me about this thing called YouTube.
Yeah.
And when you put it from here, you will learn a lot from this for YouTube. So I said, I'm watching. So, you know, I'm learning something else. Watch. I'm typing, what was the color of Jesus Christ? And, well, now, YouTube is sensitized, but they don't show these things again.
Well, it's on, that kind of content is on, but you just have to search for it.
Right. So, they tell me about Africa and where he came from. And, you know, I started typing Louis Farrakhan and listening to him talking, kind of thing. And I started gaining knowledge of what's around me. So when I started watching things now, I started, well, all these times we was on this earth here, going to churches where they forced us to go. And some of these things that they were telling us, well, it was really a lie. Because I used to go to the Anglican church.
Which church?
The Anglican church.
Right.
And they taught us about this St. Augustine. And we have to do tests and exam for it and all kind of things. But they never taught us about black history. So I now have to educate myself about black history and Africa and all these sorts of things. And I started to get more just into all my environment around me. And you know, we have to see for ourselves, because we live in a white man, and they taught us on television, and what we do is white. Even when you're watching a movie, you see how the World War, how they liberated Paris. But they never tell you African soldiers who was in that part, and the African soldiers who was from Africa helped liberated France too, but they never portray that. And they always tell you things like if them was there first, and it was them who started. And I listened to Louis Parton a lot. And I listened to him, and when he came to Trinidad, I even went to Napa, but it was so full I couldn't get to go inside.
Which venue?
Yeah. Yes, and...
Which venue was that?
That was in Napa, in Port when he came in, I think...
In Napa, yeah.
Yes, you remember that?
Yeah.
And it was so full, we didn't get to go inside, but they put speakers outside and we listened to him.
Yeah.
And every time something come up, now look what's going on with the war in Ukraine. Joe Biden said he's going to help Ukraine refugees. But when the Haitians and them was looking for refugees in America, they showing white men on horses throwing lasso over them and having them and have them like animals.
Yeah.
You see, we have to sit back and watch. Joe Biden just his people and them who believe in white. They may be Democrat, Republican, but white come first. And we have to do the same thing too.
Yeah.
Like when you say, what's Nuke is my brother? First, before it's politician.
Exactly, before the politics.
You understand? Same thing on you.
And the same way that two African people, one will denounce him as their brother to attack him, try to bring him down or destroy him for the benefit of some others.
Yes.
And those others will never, ever, ever, never disavow or denounce. Like a Syrian will never stab another Syrian in the back for the sake of an African. A Chinese person will never stab another Chinese person in the back for the sake of an African in this country. But an African will destroy their own brother for the sake of a Syrian or a Chinese. Or and it's one thing for us to do it, but you see when they ask us to do it and commission us to do it, that's when it becomes a real dangerous game, beloved.
Because I have friends who vote for you and we brothers for before we study part.
Yeah, it doesn't make a difference to me.
For other part.
And it's the same thing with religion. My Christian brothers and sisters, my Muslim brothers and sisters, my Rastafarian brothers and sisters, it makes no difference. But let me just say to you, brother, so you tried to get in to see Minister Farrakhan at Napa.
Yes.
Anytime you pass by the Kwame Ture Center, I will give you a free copy of the 2 DVDs that Minister Farrakhan did in Trinidad. It's a 2-part package. One, the speech that he did at Napa, and second, the speech that he did at the Cipriani Labor College, which was the day before. So he spoke at Cipriani Labor College on the 24th of March, and then Napa. As a matter of fact, Dr. Keith Rowley was seated on the stage as a special guest. At the one in Cipriani Labor College. You could see him on the DVD. All right, but pass by the Kwame Ture Center anytime, and once I'm there, and I'll give you free copies of those 2 DVDs. All right? Okay, time is short. Thanks for calling. Caller, are you there?
Yes, I'm still here, Brother David.
Yes, go ahead.
But my issue this morning, Brother David, is with the SCA.
Oh.
Son, they're still telling me Monday they want to award the second place. And then what they want to do is to scrap everything after. But I want the Minister of Education and the President and the award committee be careful what are you doing in Trinidad and Tobago, because that will be wickedness to the highest degree in my eyesight in Trinidad and Tobago. And here what?
Wait, what would be wickedness?
Giving the gold medal to the girl.
Ah.
Because she doesn't deserve it.
But didn't they already confirm that she's in second place?
Over the years, these years are gone. I wonder if manipulation wasn't going on for them to be having these Indians all the time as scholarship winners, first placers. Because I tell you, Brother David, I African better than any Indian. Thank you very much.
Well, first of all, we already know that the system is rigged. Since 1962, when on the front page cover of a Guardian newspaper, they had the face of Dr. Eric Williams with the face of Adolf Hitler over the face of Dr. Eric Williams. And the question is asked, what did Dr. Eric Williams do? What could he have done that was so evil for them to put Hitler's face over his face? And what it was that Dr. Eric Williams did that was so evil was that he wanted to give all children of all races and social classes an opportunity for a free secondary education. Listen, what I'm telling you here is a fact. The local white people summoned in Dr. Williams to a meeting in the same way that they still summon prime ministers into meetings today. And they called Dr. Williams into a meeting and they opposed him for that. They said, Dr. Eric Williams, how can you give all these children free secondary education? They said, what will happen to our children? Say, we are the controllers of the industry. We keep the economy vibrant. We employ members through our private sector. If you give everyone a secondary school education, then our children will be sidelined when we are the ones who are sustaining the economy. What was the outcome of that discussion? The Concord Act, which gave a 20% privilege list to the prestige schools in this country. Every year I talk about this. So you always have, every year, you have the poor black child from Laventille, Mova, Beetham, Sealots, or East Port of Spain who gets 92 marks in maths, 88 marks in English, and 17 out of 20 in the essay, and they send him to one of the government secondary schools in the name of zoning. And at the same time, you have the little white boy who lives down in the West, who gets 32 out of 100 in maths, 26 out of 100 in English, doesn't even bother to write the essay, and he's there in his first choice in the top colleges or convents of the country. That happened. Okay, so that was put in place in the early 1960s, but we are in 2021, 2022, and it is still that way today, and it will probably happen again in 2023. That is rigged. I'll be back with you next week, inshallah. Ramadan Mubarak. Assalamu alaikum.
Are not necessarily the views of the management of the Street 919 FM.